what's up, you guys? It's Jack Goes to Go. I'm sorry, it's been about 2 weeks since I put out anything. I've been extremely sick. We had a death in the family. I'm going through some work changes. So yeah, life has been hitting pretty fast and hard. Still kind of recovering from whatever I have. This has been like the most gnarly experience I have, and I don't usually get sick, but dang, when I do, it's pretty bad. So you might see me sweat. I have a towel. I'm going to try and stay as dry as possible. But yeah, just bear with me. But I wanted to get into these because we have two chapters of Black Clover that I haven't reviewed yet. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to skim through these chapters. I've already read them, but just to be more familiar, and then at the very end, once we're done skimming through them, I'll review them because there's a lot of information and a lot of stuff that happened in these two chapters. And then after this video, I'm immediately going to record the Boruto Chapter 35 review. That is also a crazy chapter in manga, and I can't wait to get into that because there's a lot of stuff going into that. And seeing how time plays out after those videos, I might go into depth on, you know, what I think is going to happen with Black Clover, and some stuff that we can talk about with Naruto as well. But that all depends on how soon I can get done with it. So let's just get started into this. So I'm going to be talking about chapter 207 first, where we have Asta, you know, in the clash with the demon with his lance. So the thing is, right here, the devil immediately says, "This lance can disintegrate anything that it touches." So I believe in my last chapter review for Black Clover, I had said that this trident was, or lance as he calls it in this chapter, was anti-magic. And that's not the case by just the way he worded this. If it was anti-magic, he would have specifically said this lance can block any magic or disintegrate any magic or whatever. But he said anything it touches. So it's still a form of magic. It's not this world magic, of course, as they have been saying. But Asta is anti-magic. It's not the lack of magic. It is like the negative magic. So it's going to block out whatever effects, because at the end of the day, that is still magic that the devil is using. So he uses Storm of Swords because Asta can't block physical attacks as well as magical attacks. So he does Storm of Swords again. Asta's blocking. This time he's doing really well, and something we gotta know is that these swords are definitely powered up. Because the last time we saw it, the devil didn't have the grimoire. So this is definitely more refined, more powerful, and a lot faster. And Asta is still blocking it, which is really, really impressive. Then we have Lumiere and Blitz helping out Asta. It looks like we have Yuno in the background, yeah. Helping out with all of the, you know, blocking of the Storm of the Swords. So he thanks everyone. Then Yuno, he's getting this feeling of warmth, you know, fighting around Lit, and we, of course, already know that that's got to be because of resonance, you know, with the child of Lit. That spirit is inside of Yuno. So he might be feeling some sort of fatherly bond. We'll probably get into it more in depth when we get done with this next chapter, but I see a lot of people saying that Lit is somehow like Yuno's father. That's actually not true at all, I don't think. he's got some sort of spiritual relation, if anything, but it's definitely not his dad. All right, then we have Sekre, who has just been awesome this entire time since she's hit the battlefield, restoring Sekre's arm. Now, what's cool is just the applications of her sealing techniques. The fact that she can seal a dismembered arm, so it's not just opening and closing things. She can use that opening and close mechanics to heal people. I mean, that's extremely impressive, and that's super advanced. Then we have, Asta, like kind of gawking over Sekre, and he's saying that he kind of feels like he knows her, and she's. I mean, I think that's a good coupling right there, Sekre and Asta. It's kind of weird because she's like, what, 500 years old? But I'll take it. It's a magic world, anything can happen. Alright, so the devil says this world's magic and the magic of a bunch of worms that don't even have 4-leaf grim worms. Now that I've obtained a new body, it's all utterly worthless against them. And Sekre said, shut up. So we get into a little flashback of Sekre and Lumiere on the roof, and they're talking, and it's really just about the possibilities of magic and how he wants to apply tools to make it a level playing field for everyone, because not everyone, as we know, is blessed with magic or mana. So Sekre really took in this ideal that Lumiere was going for, and she was clearly offended. So she said, someone like you who does nothing but take things away from others, the very people you look down on, trampled on, and treated like toys, you will be defeated by them today. And so the devil's like, let's just speed things up. Alright? So he summons all this other magic, wormy stuff, and it's really overflowing the room, and he's intentionally putting everyone in the bottom layers of, I keep forgetting what this place is called at their end. I think it's like the shadow or something. I'm getting it wrong, but it's whatever. But they're at the top, so his magic is going to flow down and overwhelm all parts of this building. So he's putting everyone in danger, and there's not much they can do to stop it at all. So Litz says, I'll be borrowing your powers. So I think this was like the coolest thing we've ever seen in Black Clover. Litz, I mean, it's cool that he didn't even open up with this attack. But he points it over and says, I'm going to be powering your power, lifts it up, and we see Patri and Yuno are kind of like lighting up, and then we start getting flashbacks of everyone on the field that are getting their power drained somewhat. Now, before we get any further into this, what turns out to be an elven spirit bomb, we get to Charmy, and I believe she was fighting Rill, Elf Rill, and oh my god, Charmy is standing there, and she's obviously won her fight. I mean, Charmy, there's something going on, and I think it goes back to this Nine Worlds theory, where I think humans may not necessarily be great with magic. Now, there's humans that are blessed with mana for sure, but not every single human is like that. And that's why we have this class system. But then we have people like Charmy, who we just found out was a dwarf in the beginning of this whole arc. So, I mean, are dwarves blessed with mana too? I mean, it seems like they are. but to what extent? Because we saw Rill in his power. His power is almost endless. We've never seen this kid really tired or really have to try and push himself. And then he got the elf boost, and Charmy still took him on, and it looks like she won. So I'm really curious as to what the different species, like how they stack up as far as mana, because that is absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, they continue taking all the powers. Then we get a picture of Raya, and he notices it's Link that's doing all this. Once he gathers all of that, he says here, take the fury of the elves, and this has got to be the most brutal attack. It's the ultimate sword magic. Dormant Demon's Blade Supreme Eon. Dormant Demon's Blade Supreme Eon. That sounds epic. He slams that thing down, and all we see is smoke, and the devils start disintegrating. And by the end of everything, once it's all said and done, there is nothing left. Like, to show a little bit of the space, there's 4 of them just kind of floating, and they're spread out quite a bit, and there's still this wide just space that was blown out of this castle or whatever that they're in, which is also said to be very hard to break out of, apparently, and he did it effortlessly. And he also got a lot of that demon magic away. So we think the devil was like defeated, kinda, and then we see the devil's heart. Now, I will tell you this, and I'll be super honest, I got super upset because they watched the devil do it. Ah, man, that really got me. It's kind of like when you watch a horror movie, and then you go like, don't turn right, and they turn right. I look left, but you know what I mean. And they do it anyway, but it's like something that you just wouldn't do, and they just, anyway. So the devil's heart is there, and everyone's like, wait, it's the demon's heart, and then he's just like, he has a mouth form over it, and he says, heal, and the devil's just back. It's the most ridiculous thing. So why I got upset was just because that they saw that the last thing left was the devil's heart. Why did no one jump on that and just like hit it with another attack? Instead, they watch it. They're like, oh, it's a floating demon heart. Oh, it's growing a mouth. Let's keep watching. Oh, it said heal. And then even as he's healing, like they're not doing anything. I didn't. I don't know. But I think it's more to do with the fact that they're setting this up. This is still a very basic story, very basic fight. This devil, like I've said in the other videos, is just the means to an end. This is the beginning of, or this is the end phase of the beginning of Black Clover. It's going to take off from here. We're going to get a better story. Because this demon is very classic villainy, like, oh, there's no way you can defeat me, blah, 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 unless you guys level up. So, like, they're getting through that and seeing, this is going to be something that's going to be in their future. This is something they're going to have to put up with later. And I can tell you now, he's going to be more of, maybe not a bottom tier villain, but he's not going to be as bad as we thought once we get on in the series after this. So we get into the next chapter. So this is the latest chapter. I'll go ahead and read through it because I know some of you have not read it at all. We have, I forget the name of this guy, maybe it says, but He is the captain of the Purple Orcas, and I believe he's with his vice captain, maybe? I forget his name too. But he says, "What was that tremor just now? Is something up? Is something happening up there? What the hell is this ominous rumbling?" So they're just showing essentially like they're able to survive all of this demon magic overflowing their room because the captain of the Purple Orcas, his ability is to become essentially transparent, and no physical or magical attack can touch him. So, and he becomes full-on invisible. So, I mean, he's completely safe, and his buddy's safe because apparently he can extend his magic to another person. So it says, if it wasn't for Gildrake's, that's his name, Gildrake's permeation magic, we would have been goners in an instant. And this other guy says, impossible. I can feel the magic caster's presence all over this place. Good thing he didn't follow us here. And Gildrake says, in order to accomplish something, you gotta get into some trouble. And he's wondering where the exit's at. And he's saying he's got to get the hell out of there before his magic runs out. So, the last time we saw Gildrake, he was on the run. Still looks like he's not quite up to any good. There's some really shady stuff happening with the Purple Orcas, and I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of it. Maybe it's just like, I don't know, it just was like a very sketchy group of people, because they're the ones who essentially killed Zora's dad as well. So we get back to Yami and Charlotte, and it says, so this space couldn't withstand Luke's ultimate magic, huh? Man, this magic was something else, all right. That was Yami. And he says, well, thanks to you, I guess we're saved. That stuff is flowing down pretty heavily, though. And he says, and thanks for my arm, Thorny Soon. We're even now. So she restored his arm, where we thought he might have lost it, because the demon magic took the life force from it. And he says, I think I can manage at least one dimension slash. Let's get into this now, because Yami, he gets into it here. He says he still doesn't quite know why his dark magic is effective against this demon. And I think, so I did a lot of looking into it, because I knew I was going to do this video. But if you look up Norse mythology and then you look up like Norse mythological demons, you're not going to get like your typical, if you looked at Christian demons, you're not going to get, you know, the typical Lucifer, and, you know, what are other things like Azazel. You won't get a list of demons. Instead, what you get is some things that were kind of regarded as potential demons, which were the Jotuns or the giants, which is interesting. They were considered dark, and so for Yami's magic to be dark, it makes sense as to why the devil is affected by Yami's magic. I'm kind of confused as to why the devil hasn't said anything to Yami, or like mentioned anything about the fact that Yami's magic is the only magic to be able to touch him. But hey, we'll definitely find out. So yeah, he's wondering, you know, how his magic works, and he's definitely planning on when to strike with that dark dimension slash. I'm assuming it's going to be once we get this demon disintegrated again, but it's going to happen from Austin probably, and he is going to be the one to dark dimension slash the heart. I mean, I think that's the most sense that this can make. But then he notices that the trump card could be our lively breath, which is Asta. And Asta is kind of just powering up, and everyone's like, oh, crap. Lumiere's looking at Asta, and he says, that sword he's using isn't it Lick's? And Sekre says, after Lick's grimoire took in the power of a demon and became a 5-leaf grimoire, Asta's probably been using the anti-magic power lying within a different demon from that grimoire. So, let's go further, and then we'll loop back to this because there's a little more that's said about this. So Asta, he's getting dragged around by the sword, and he's saying there's too much power and he can't control it. He's going straight to the demon. The demon's kind of chuckling at him. He's like, you can't even control your power, can you? And he hits the trident again, but this time it breaks. So whatever was happening, he's now much stronger than he was when the last time he clashed with the devil, because they just kind of locked in place. So the devil, he says, he was even able to counter that fast light magic and disregard the effects of bending space, the lance from the other dimension. I don't know how strong that demon of yours is. This is the devil speaking. Know my superiority and know your place. And he speaks a spell from his grimoire, and all these like hell worms start coming out, and it looks really crazy and hellish. So I'm going to look back to what Sekre said, and what Sekre said about Asta's grimoire was that after Lick's grimoire took in the power of a demon and became a 5-leaf clover, Asta's probably been using the anti-magic power lying within a different demon from that grimoire. So Sekre doesn't quite know what's going on. She just knows that there's a different demon. But the devil doesn't know either what's going on. Because he says, I don't know how strong that demon of yours is, but just know my superiority, and speaking about the demon to know its place. So that's kind of weird, it's kind of worrying, because there shouldn't be any other demon in Asta's grimoire since it's a Lick's grimoire. This was the grimoire created by this devil that we see now. So there's a lot of things that aren't quite making sense as far as how demons operate. I think I don't know if it's right so far, if they just haven't full on explained what's going on. But when we think we got answers, we kind of didn't. We've been under the impression that once despair has been caused for someone with a 4-leaf clover, that it turns into a 5-leaf clover, and then a demon is born from it. But here's the thing that even I kind of looked over, is when we get into the backstory of Lumiere, Licht, Tetia, and all of the elves of the Sekre, that's not what happened. The demon was an ethereal being. It didn't have a body, but he didn't need to attach himself to a grimoire at all. He was even floating over lights, at the scene when Lumiere came and the 5th leaf was born. But I mean, he didn't need to bind himself to that grimoire at all. So I'm really confused as to why this demon is in a grimoire, because it doesn't quite need to be. And this demon that we're fighting now didn't get birth from a grimoire. He possessed a different body of an elf and got the magic stones together, and then he was born. So it's really tough to say what happens. and how this demon got to Austin's. And it's kind of throwing us off as to any of like why demons exist, how they get into bodies and all of that. It's just absolutely crazy to me. So we get into the fight. As soon as he unleashes those like hell worms, Asta's sword starts following them. So it seems like the devil like played his cards right, so that if it's going to start following magic, it's got to follow these things. So it kind of takes the heat off of him. And then Lumiere comes in and saves him. He just swoops in and he's flying. And he crashes because his magic got drained. And he even says that he's not going to be able to use his magic for a bit. So to kind of put that to perspective, Lumiere is definitely the most blessed with mana person we've come across, aside from this demon and light. And within the span of seconds, he was drained of his mana and disabled temporarily. Now, this is not like I'm assuming it's not like the full Lumiere, as he's kind of bound to that stone part of him. But that's still quite a bit of mana. I mean, they're fighting the devil, so it's impressive, and it shows the potential that Asta can get to if he can learn to control what he's got. So then we get to Patri. He says, "Damn it, Sword of Magic has no effect on that demon's magic at all. I have the same 4-leaf light magic, but he's on a completely different level." Speaking of Lumiere. As I am now, the only thing I can do. He starts forming some dark orbs around his hands. He says, "I should be able to use it now, this time to protect." So he says, "Demon light magic, light sword of judgment." So he's still able to use the dark light magic, or the demon light, excuse me. The demon light magic, even though he's not full dark elf, which is pretty freaking cool. And then throws the devil's away. The devil says, "Even the corrupt elf who was chosen by the 4-leaf can do something after all. Bravo. Though at this point, their power is like a drop in the ocean, really." Then he says, "Just like everyone else's magic, I should be able to do something too. That's Asta." He says, "Contain it. Make it take form, grasp the feeling." So he's walking himself through those steps that kind of got him into the platform in the first place. Secretary goes over to Lumiere. She's like, "Are you all right, Prince? Anti-magic is amazing. I won't be able to use my magic for a little while, like I said earlier." Lumiere is kind of out of the game right now. So Secretary says, "This is a long shot, but I can try using my sealing magic to suppress Asta's power." And he says, "No, it'll be fine." And he comes in, he says, "What are you doing always messing around, Asta?" And he continues and he says, to be unable to use your own power, that's completely unforgivable." And Asta is just taken by surprise. He's like, And it shows Lumiere, and he's kind of got the spark in his eye. He's like, he's appreciating this chemistry that Asta and have. And it says, "The air returned to him as condensation carrying the vestiges of our magic. With that, he made a sword that's effective against the demon's magic." So he's admiring his prowess. And Licked, he's sweating. He says he's already grown so quickly since our battle. And then it shows holding the dopest looking sword. It says, "Wind Spirit Creation Magic, Spirit of Zephyr." He looks super dope. But he says, yeah, that's completely unforgivable for a magic emperor. And Asta, they show the bottom half of his face, and he's smiling. He says, "Just now, I was starting to get the hang of it. And the devil's looking a bit surprised, maybe a little bit worried. And Yuno says, so you can do it if you try. And Asta, he's holding his sword. And he says, anti-magic demon slayer sword, black divider. And he says, hell yeah, because I'm going to be the magic emperor. And that's the end of that chapter. Now, let's talk about Yuno really quick. This is what makes Yuno great. It's not exactly the fact that he's got this 4-leaf grimoire, that he's got a bunch of mana. It's not that, he's just smart. It took him literally 5 seconds to figure out how to create a mana zone and correlate it with mana skin. And he mastered mana zone instantly. So now to dive into what this sword is, let's talk about the name real quick. Wind Spirit Creation Magic. Spirit of Zephyr. Now, this is wind magic, this is spirit magic, it's also creation magic. Now, creation magic it's a tough magic to do, and I believe they do state this more towards the beginning of the series, around the exam times, and a little further on, that is a bit tough to do, and to take the magic in the air surrounding the battlefield to create this as well is extremely impressive. We haven't seen something like that yet, and that is awesome to put himself in the fight like that. And it shows Yuno's character. He's not going to be useless. He refuses to be useless. Even though Asta is more suited for this battle due to his anti-magic, Yuno, being just full of magic, finds a way to put himself next to Asta so that he can be useful, even in a situation like this. So that's impressive, and that's why I love this dynamic that Yuno and Asta have together. It's incredible. Now, to get to this anti-magic demon slayer sword, Black Divider, so it's definitely, it looks cool. But as far as what it's going to do, is it going to be a spell? I don't know. I mean, it's really tough to say, because it does have, it looks like anti-magic flowing off of it. So I'm thinking this could be a possible dark spell. But it's so hard to say because we know Asta doesn't have any mana. So how would he use a spell? Unless it's just anti-magic energy that'll be coming off of it. I mean, this looks like the end of the devil. I don't think the devil will be around in the next 2 or 3 chapters, 3 chapters at the most. If it goes beyond that, it's going to be dragging on. But this Black Divider possible spell doesn't look like a joke at all, and neither does Yuno's sword. So it's going to be tough, and it looks like we're going to get the same that dynamic of when Asta and Yuno just came together, so that Yuno could block all of the physical swords that the devil threw towards him, and Asta was blocking all the magic swords. But it looks like it'll be much more leveled up. Because Asta is now on a different level of controlling this sword instead of it leading him, and it looks like he might have a bit of a ranged attack as well, along with Yuno's new sword, to really cause damage to the devil. And then to finish it off, I won't be surprised, like I said in the beginning of the video or of this chapter, to see Yami deal that final blow with his Dark Dimension Slash. But I mean, overall, these chapters have been hitting so hard, like 9 out of 10s easy. I think they're moving just a bit slow for my taste. Like, I get the point. So I hope once this power up happens, they give us the info. just give it to us straight so we can move on, because there's a lot more to this series. Do I want to get into it now? No, I'll put in a different video, but I mean, we gotta start becoming more accustomed to the possibility of, of some Norse background involved in this. And I think we're gonna find out Yami's heritage pretty soon. And I won't be surprised if Lumiere kind of caught wind of this already and just got to the elves because maybe that was the quickest or the easiest relationship to form at the time. So who knows? But thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to be doing a Naruto review right after this, so these will drop around the same time. Thank you guys for supporting. Make sure you like and subscribe, share this with your friends. Give me your opinions. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the comment section below. It's getting really interesting, and it's going to blow up really fast. So stick with me through the ride, and let me know if there's anything else that you want me to review on this channel. Right now, I'm just doing this, and like I said before, I'm kind of putting a hold on reactions until I can get it down to a bit of the science, because my other one got copyright claimed, and I had spent hours on that. So I just don't want to happen. I don't want that to happen again. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Like, subscribe, share. It's Jack OATz to go.